You know a video is going to be good when it begins on the floor because the box is just so big. This right here, which is literally the length of my arm span, is the Acer Predator Z57 or Z57 or whatever you're going to call it. And while most of your monitors are either 16:9 or 21:9 if it's ultra wide, this one right here is 32:9. It's a whopping 57 inches. Oh, and they mentioned it's also 4K, bringing our total resolution up to 7680 by 2160. I honestly have no idea how I'm even going to unbox this, given how the stand doesn't even fit on my desk properly. And I know it says here that this is a two-person job right on the box. However, I'm pretty sure that most people that buy this thing live alone or at most have a trophy wife with no interest in manual labor. Here it is. It barely fits in the frame and it barely fits on my desk, so I'm honestly surprised they're even selling it in Europe because this is clearly made for American houses only. And there it is, 7680 by 2160. Actually seeing that in Windows is insane. I've never ever experienced such a resolution before, and all of that whilst also being 120 Hz and also having HDR on. Obviously that's going to require something like HDMI 2.1 to actually drive all those pixels. You have two HDMI 2.1 ports as well as a single DisplayPort 1.4 port, and your final option for video will be this USB Type-C port, which is also capable of 90-watt charging. You also have a USB Type-B port for things such as firmware updates, then in the corner 4 USB Gen 3 Type-A ports, and finally in the other corner, a headphone jack as well. Okay, and I can already tell you that the performance is way worse than normally is, given how we're driving so many additional pixels. So one thing to keep in mind is that you're going to need a graphics card good enough, given how we have over 16.5 million pixels here to keep fed. However, if you're buying something like this, odds are you can also afford like a 5090 or something, because yeah, speaking of the price, this thing right here is going to cost you $1,700, and if you live in the UK, for some reason it costs even more. Now, again, what you're paying for here is pretty much the ultimate gaming experience. Well, at least kind of. There are some things that still maybe aren't as top-notch as they could be. For example, it is a mini-LED rather than OLED with 2,304 local dimming zones. That means that you're not getting that pixel-perfect control of what emits light and what doesn't. As a result, the halo effect around objects in a dark scene is pretty bad for the price, let's be honest here. If you're making a product that costs this much, why not just go all out and make an OLED or some similar technology that does allow us to have light controls on every single individual pixel? But hey, at least you have RGB in that price, so that's something. Now you can actually set it to be 240 Hz. However, at that point you're downgrading to just 1080p because, well, no commercial cable has the kind of bandwidth right now. However, anyone who buys this kind of monitor just to play at 1080p at a slightly higher refresh rate that you just talk yourself into thinking you can notice, well, I don't think they deserve to have that much money in the first place. I wanted to see what video editing looks like, and it's hilarious. You get this much timeline and you have to gaze away all the way over here just to see the preview, and all my effects and my clips are all the way down here. So my eyes literally go on a 2-week journey between my effects and media bins to the actual preview. This is amazing. Something else that Acer advertised with this thing is the fact that their speakers are supposedly above average for the standards of built-in monitor ones. Okay, I wanted to test the speakers in Anno because I've been playing it a lot recently, but the menu does not like this game at all. Anyway, let's actually give the speakers a go. And they're not bad. When you have so much area to work with, sure, you can make them bigger and they are only 10 watt, but they do sound pretty good. Again, best monitor speakers I've ever heard, which, well, isn't saying much, but still. It is incredibly immersive. When you sit like this, you're pretty much only in the game or whatever else you're doing. However, there's still that kind of, space at the top and at the bottom of your periphery, and that is where 16:9 but ginormous displays come in, like my daily driver, the FE43U, or that 43-inch OLED from ROG. Those are also a bit more space efficient and, well, cheaper than this. And as you saw, quite a few games just do not want to play nice with this kind of aspect ratio. Acer may be a bit too ahead of the times here, so your mileage may vary depending on the support in your favorite titles. Another thing about ultra-wides like this is the fact that it's also very difficult to hide the cables underneath when compared to 16:9s. And at this price, I kind of wish they did a bit more to, I don't know, find some nicer way of running the cables in such a way that they aren't as visible. If you can afford it and you want something that's just the best of the best, well, almost, again, I wish there was OLED or something similar, but whatever, then like, yeah, definitely go buy it. But how about you spend some money over on a Patreon as well? Plus featuring Gavin Burns, Justin Rage, Ella Vroniak, Balash Roka, Patrick Harrison, Nola Pseudonym, Meg Sumner, and Shane Allcroft. But anyway, that's what it's. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.